Hi, welcome back. This is chapter 6, homework 3, and we are almost done. We just got 2 more left, question 10 and 11, so let's do it. So it says find the mid-segment, and on the last video we learned this is the mid-segment. And the reason why they call it mid-segment is it literally cut this segment in half. See how that's the middle, 43 and 43, 65 and 65. We also noticed that the baby has 43 on the left and 65 on the right, and the mommy has double that. So that's another way to notice that, the baby is half of mom. So if I want this mid-segment, I can take 2 times the mid-segment should equal the bottom of mom, 7x plus 37. Okay. So to solve for this mid-segment, I'm going to set up 2 times the mid-segment equals the bottom, and we distribute. Now let's get all the x's on one side and get everything away from the x's on that side. And it looks like I get 9. And so when I divide 3 on both sides, I get x is 3. But I'm not done. We learned on the last question to find the length of the mid-segment, we got to find literally the length of this segment right there in the middle. So the mid-segment happens to be 5x plus 14, and we have to substitute the 3 in there. So we'd get 5 times 3 plus 14, so that's 15 plus 14, or 29. So the mid-segment here is 29. Now you can double check this. You can plug, if that's 29, this would have to be twice as big as that. So 29 times 2, this would need to be 58. And I bet if you plug 3 in there, 7 times 3 is 21 plus 37. Yep, I get 58. So mom is twice as big as the baby because the left side of baby is 43. The left side of mom would be 86, and that is twice as big. So if you notice that pattern, that's why we are taking 2 times the mid-segment equals the bottom of mom. Okay, this one looks familiar. It looks like Miss Cruzmark just went in and changed the dimensions here. So I'm going to recopy the problem. Flipping it over because they're asking us to find the area. Now we know the area of a triangle is base times altitude divided by 2. The base here is 14, and the altitude we don't know, so we're going to call that A. So whenever I find out what A is, I can go back and plug it in. So right now I'm looking 14 divided by 2 times A would just be 7 times A. So the area of this triangle happens to equal 7 times my altitude once I figure out what the altitude is. Now looking again at my picture, it seems pretty obvious that this was an isosceles triangle when it was upside down. So this is 8, and an altitude would have cut this dimension in half. So this is a right triangle with one dimension 7, because 14 got cut in half. One dimension is the altitude, and the other dimension's 8. So I can use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared is c squared, and a squared we do not know. Now our b from our picture is 7, so 7 squared, and c is 8. So that'd be 8 squared. Now finishing this out, we definitely did a couple of these in class before, but it didn't show up on the test because I waited to put it on this later one. So I end up getting 15 is a squared. And so a would be the square root of 15. So now I've solved this mystery of the a. I now know that the area of this triangle would just be 14 times the square root of 15 divided by 2. And when I take 14 divided by 2, I get 7. So the area of the triangle is 7 times a. And I'm going to just, instead of the letter a, I'm going to write the square root of 15. And you guessed it, they said leave your answer in simplest radical form. That's simplest radical form. So I'm just going to go back and highlight my answers here. Thanks for joining us.